Shay Cormac has to be one of the most controversial characters in the whole of the Assassin's Creed franchise. A character that has lovers and haters, but after playing Assassin's Creed Rogue, I can say I am firmly on the fence. I used to hate him so much for the fact that he joined the Templars, but that opinion has changed slightly to where now that hate turned into understanding. I know for a good amount of people they hate him regardless of what his reasoning was, but I would say that Assassin's Creed Rogue has to be one of the most important Assassin's Creed games. The amount of lore and plot holes that this game fills is really something you miss out on if you haven't played the game yet. And this video will detail why Shay Cormac is the hero for the wrong reason. I just want to give a big shout out to my boy Matty, to my boy Nuki, to my boy Pizza for buying me this game, and I'm really thankful for it, bro. You've always supported me and I just wanted to say thank you, so shout out to my boy Matty. First off, let's start with Shay. If there was any better of an example for character development, it would be him. The game works really hard to show you his transition from a positive young assassin to a mature, troubled, stoic Templar. In the beginning, Shay is a happy young assassin because he believed he was doing the right thing. After the death of his father, he became lost and started down a path of not living a good life. But he sought out purpose when he joined the assassins, working really hard to become a great assassin. He really felt at home and that he had found a place where he belongs. And by his side was his friend Liam O'Brien, who is a really cool character in the game. I would say that he really could have been a great main character in his own game if they had chose to give him one. But the game doesn't take long to show that Shay always questions the morals of the assassins, often questioning authority and the reason why they were doing what they were doing. Now I just want to quickly take a sidebar to give you context about Shay's shift to the Templars and about why there is a catch to it. So for those of you who don't know, the earthquake that Shay Cormac caused had already happened in a different location. Yet again, it was by an assassin who was tasked to do the same thing as Shay. There was an earthquake in Haiti, and the earthquake in Haiti happened 4 years before Shay would go to Lisbon. The crazy part is that the Templars were on the same path. They wanted the same thing as the assassins, and an assassin called Vendredi was tasked to investigate and most likely get the Piece of Eden. This was in 1751, and Shay's earthquake happened in 1755. The Templars had been looking for the seismic temples too, which housed the Isu artifacts that caused the earthquakes. The Templar Lawrence Washington caught up with Vendredi and was waiting outside the temple. Vendredi triggered the earthquake by mistake, and while trying to run for the exit, some of the falling rocks and pieces of the temple fell on his legs, to which he could no longer run. And this is the part where it gets even more interesting. Vendredi was pinned by rocks, and Lawrence Washington offered to free him if he gave up the location of his mentor, who had the precursor box and manuscript. But after Vendredi gave him the location, Lawrence killed him anyway. Then after that, he went to the mentor's camp and got the precursor box and manuscript, and this is how the Templars got them. The catch to this game is that both sides knew about the earthquakes, and you can even hear Adewale and Achilles discuss what happened in Haiti.
The ground shook and the ocean waves crashed over Port-au-Prince.
How many were lost?
Thousands. No family was left untouched.
I hate to bring up practical matters at a time like this, but did Mackandal's man complete his task before the earthquake hit?
I cannot know. Vendredi has not been found. He was a strong Maroon, one of Mackandal's best students.
Such a shame. So we cannot know if he found the site.
Indeed. But if there was a temple under the waves, I doubt it is still standing.
And the artifacts that showed the way?
Stolen. The Templars broke in during the chaos. They seized the manuscript and precursor box.
And from the research I did, there is no specific use for the Piece of Eden in the temples. Both sides just wanted it because they didn't want the other side to have it. And to be fair, the Templars would have made the exact same mistake as the assassins. The only difference is the assassins discovered it first, and Vendredi couldn't let his mentor know because Lawrence Washington killed him. So the Templars are just as much at fault as the assassin. Now I want to talk about Shay as a Templar. It's very easy to notice that Shay is not his normal self when he starts working with the Templars, and rightfully so. He could never know whether to trust them or not, only that later on he could use them to stop the assassins from causing more earthquakes and killing innocent people. The sad part about Shay is that he blames himself for the earthquake when the only thing he was doing was just following orders, and even with the earthquake itself, Shay barely made it out alive and almost died. He saw people dying, and during the earthquake while you are running to the shore, you can even hear babies crying. So you can imagine there was nothing he could do to save anyone, otherwise he would have died too. It's hard to place blame in this case because both sides acted in bad judgment. The seismic temples didn't have an apple of Eden or something of that nature. It was essentially just Isu architecture that is linked to hold the earth together in some way. Still on the topic of Shay as a Templar, he basically had to kill all the people he cared about most. He had to wipe out the people he considered his family, the people that gave him a place, the people that gave him meaning, the people that gave him a purpose, the people that gave him a home. These are the people he had to kill to see his mission be fulfilled. And you notice that the full of life Shay is gone, because deep down he knows that he's with the enemy, people that he was trained to hunt and kill. And yes, he sides with the Templars, but not wholeheartedly. He still believes in the tenets of the creed, but now he's doing things his own way and wants to do what's for the greater good of the people. And that is one of his closing statements to his story of starting a new creed.
Uphold the principles of our order, and all that for which we stand. Never share our secrets, nor divulge the true nature of our work. Do so until death, whatever the cost. This is my new creed. I am Shay Patrick Cormac, Templar of the Colonial, of the American right. I am an older man now, and perhaps wiser. A war and a revolution have ended, and another is about to begin. May the Father of Understanding guide us all.
Despite everything Shay did, he knew he was doing it for the right reason, and you as the player can't help but feel sympathetic towards his cause. The colonial assassins were also just as much victims in this. They followed a mentor who was corrupted by power and didn't care about innocent people or the lives of his own mentees. Achilles knew what he did was wrong, and instead of admitting it, he doubled down and made it seem like it was a part of the job when he made Shay break one of the most important tenets of the creed, which is not to kill innocent people.
So what's the next city you want me to smite? What happened in Haiti happened in Portugal. A great earthquake. Thousands dead thanks to your damned manuscript.
This cannot be.
Shay, a person cannot start an earthquake.
A person meddling with these precursor machines could. You saw the box, Hope. The temple was filled to bursting with that kind of power. You made me slaughter innocents.
How dare you?
You defend him? Achilles sent me in there like Macandal sent his man in Haiti.
What the hell's going on? Stop this! The operation was delicate. Perhaps
You are shifting the earth itself. Who are you to decide what city falls next?
Get him out of here.
And with the earthquake in Lisbon, the amount of innocent people must have been in the hundreds to the thousands of people. One big problem I have with Assassin's Creed Rogue is how the game tried really hard to make the assassins look bad. When you're an assassin, there are all these kind and nice people who really care about you, but then after you become a Templar, they then go to very comically bad villains, as in, "You can't catch me, mwahaha," type of villains. It is crazy how the assassins that you had known for years as good people that loved you would turn on such a dime and all of a sudden want you dead. Bear in mind that when Shay was working with the Templars, he wasn't officially a Templar, and the assassins also thought he was dead. The only time he officially became a Templar was when Liam killed Colonial George Monroe, and then he was given his Templar ring, and even then he wasn't sworn in or inaugurated as a Templar yet, so there was more than enough room to maybe have talked things out, but it was clear that the writing of the game would never allow this. I feel that if Shay could have reached out to anyone, then that person would have been Adewale. He is the one who found out about the first earthquake in Haiti, and he told Achilles about it, and yet Achilles still told Shay to find the precursor site. Maybe if Shay had tried to find Adewale and talk to him, most likely Adewale would have sided with Shay and tried to convince Achilles to stop looking for the precursor site. Or, if the assassins had maybe tried to speak to Shay instead of trying to kill him, then I feel that the story would have gone in a very different way, with the Templar still being the enemy. A lot of people will look at Shay as a bad guy, but he is not the only assassin who could have defected to the Templars. Altair could have defected many times to the Templars, because if you check his story, you would see that he lost a lot because of the assassins. And you know what? I'll actually make a video about that. But one instance is where Al-Mu'alim tried to kill Altair after becoming corrupted by the Apple of Eden and was revealed to be a Templar. The other assassin who had a really good reason to defect was Connor Kenway, because you find out in the game that it was actually George Washington who burnt down his village when he was a child and basically killed his mother. And it was Haytham Kenway who revealed this truth, and Connor could have easily joined his father and became a Templar right there and then, because even with Haytham, it was the Templars who killed his father, Edward Kenway, and yet he still joined the Templars and later on killed Reginald Birch, the person who was responsible for killing Edward. And even after that, he still stayed with the Templars, pretty much stating that the Templars are a necessary evil and he will have control and run the Templars in his own image, just like Shay would. The case is different with Altair and Connor. They understood that the assassins will never be perfect, but instead of defecting, they chose to stay and fight for the creed and brotherhood. They would shape the brotherhood in their own image, one that represents the tenets of the creed, and this is why assassins like Altair and Connor are considered part of the greatest assassins, because they lived by the creed and died by the creed. And that would be the end of their story, with Altair having a massive influence on the assassins, with him influencing Ezio, who is considered the greatest assassin of all time, and Ezio's influence not only influencing future games, but pretty much influencing the whole franchise. The modern day segments were really cool. There are so many Easter eggs, like how you can find old Assassin's Creed games, Far Cry 3 and Splinter Cell games all over the Abstergo office. I didn't find all the modern day secrets, but I found a majority of them, and it felt so good to play the modern day again, because Assassin's Creed Rogue is a very modern day lore rich game. But nothing crazy happens. It's mostly just audio files and a bunch of emails, with a few cutscenes sprinkled in. They could have done more, but they probably felt for the time they had done enough. I no longer have a bias against Assassin's Creed Rogue or Shay Cormac. Rogue is a great game and Shay Cormac is a great character. If after playing the game you still don't like Rogue or Shay, then I see where you're coming from. But Rogue actually wanted to tell a real story, one that evoked emotion from the player and make them feel real feelings. The gameplay of Rogue is fun, and you get a lot of cool weapons that make combat fun, but at the same time, you get a lot of overpowered weapons that do an insane amount of crowd control that make for some really funny moments at times. If you have never played Rogue, I would say go give it a try and really explore the game in detail. Take your time with it, and you might just find that it's one of the best games you've ever played. And with that, this is the Chilly Man signing off. I thank everyone for watching. Peace out.